Today is the 2nd of August, which means a new month, and some would say a new beginning. In short, you could consider every moment a new beginning if you are as opportunistic as that. But let's look at the bigger picture here. So what do I have for you today? Well, I don't fully remember where I left off last month, but what I can say is the wall that I had a feeling that some of my clients were hitting has not disappeared yet, but we're finding ways for me and each and one of them to work towards climbing that wall. And so now that the initial sprint of like huge daily progress is over, it's not new anymore and it's just a daily grind. Progress comes slower. And what I find is that in these moments, what is absolutely crucial is working with each and every one of them and following up with action points daily, making sure they know what to work on, making sure I follow up with them having worked on that, what were the results, why were those the results they got, and moreover, what can we do with the situation that we have. So that's great. And what I'm seeing is that because I'm putting more attention towards doing that, I think that's the main difference from before. We are making more progress and that's awesome. It's still a daily grind for sure, but I definitely have a feeling that the guys who are starting up from scratch have a much better chance at getting some significant financial results towards the end of these 3 months compared to if they continue to be stuck. And I'm still battling with not taking too much responsibility, remembering that these guys are not employees, but clients. And so they need to be treated like clients, like fully agentic clients. So I try to help them and coach them, but not take responsibility and tell them and do too much for them, but tell them what to do and help them do it by themselves. And a huge lesson that I'm learning with this team of clients, not that these guys are special in that regard, is just how difficult it is for people to do simple things on a daily basis. Like I ask all of the guys to report back to me some daily outreach numbers and a couple of questions. I think in the beginning I had some kind of expectation that there would be a couple of days where they slipped up and I would have to remind them, but I'm finding that it's like constant reminding, that I have to give them constant reminders to continue to give these updates. In one way, I've just learned to kind of adjust my expectations and then go off of that and not getting angry or annoyed or frustrated by it. And on the other hand, it's also assuring because I know that it's going to be incredibly easy to make a guarantee off of this requirement or this condition, because it's a great requirement to have, because it is like I wouldn't ask these guys to do these things if it wasn't actually super important. But also quite a number of people are probably going to ruin it for themselves by not doing these reportings. And I don't say that because I want people to fail being in the program. Like I want all of them to be as successful as possible. It's only a help to me. But I say it because, you know, the guarantee of like, if you don't get $1,000 in 90 days, then it's free, can seem like in my eyes at least, kind of like a too good to be true guarantee. And I think, you know, having this kind of condition and knowing how people work in their daily lives shows you that it's not an unrealistic guarantee to have. And I'm not going to be doing all these payouts because most likely most people aren't going to be eligible for the guarantee at the end. We'll see. I mean, this is still like super initial stages, and I think I'll have a clear, you know, picture of that, what that will look like once I get to crossing that bridge, as you say. Other than that, I'm really looking forward to being done with my thesis, handing that in. And it's so funny because it's not difficult anymore in any way. It just takes time and mental focus for me to switch my attention towards doing that and actually having to spend time on that, compared to just wanting to be all in focused with my clients and like every day just being there for them and following up with them and helping them as much as I can. So it also shows me the potential of what the future will look like, which is awesome. You know, pros and cons as always, everything is a trade-off. Anything else interesting? I will be revisiting in the US in a couple of weeks, which is cool. And so one of the important things to me was making sure that I don't just change the meeting schedules for my clients at the last minute, notify them and don't give them a chance to have a say in what happens. Just because that's gonna have an impact on how they view our cooperative relationship. And I want them to have a good experience. So, it's 2 weeks out, and I've asked them what would be their new preferred times for those 2 weeks, communicated it, I'll be sending reminders. And so hopefully that'll help make sure that we don't have any no-shows and that they end up having a good experience, even though we had to change their schedule. That's what I'm hoping at least. And then, there are 2 months left for these original 90 days. And I'm gonna continue working with all of the guys until they get to the end point of a minimum of $1,000. It's gonna be interesting, to say the least, for how quickly we can get there. It's exciting and I love doing it. 2 of the guys are already there, so now we're just kind of trying to see how much I can help them get. But for the other guys who are starting from scratch, I'm really looking forward to seeing, one, how much and how quickly we'll be able to help them finish, view myself and the business as a brand. But right now it is just me, it is I. What else? I just edited another building the business video, and this one's from January, which was right after I got back from exchange. And it was really funny to see. One, I'm happy that I've been so intentional with recording these status videos throughout the entirety of the year, because it means I have some actual footage of what I was thinking at those points. And it's so funny to see, from week to week to week, having ups and downs and ups and downs, and how quickly it changes, and what was I thinking in 1 week. How did something immediately change afterwards? How did that affect me? What were my thoughts? And I do really understand why Gary V hammers down so heavily on the whole, make sure you document your journey. And I'm so happy I started doing that. Just because those moments are so precious to be able to look back on. Even if they are kind of in the middle moments, they're not the beginning, they're not the end. When I watch the footage back and I see myself having a low moment and still see my perspective that I had, I'm proud of myself for being stoic, for being opportunistic, for having faith and being resilient. I'm proud of myself for that. And just seeing that reminds me that I can get through the hard moments I'm facing now. I can get through the hard-facing moments I'll face in the future. There will continue to be hard moments and obstacles. That's a given. Life's great. I'm so excited for what I'm doing right now and what the future holds. And I hope you enjoy these videos. I enjoy making them because I enjoy the authenticity of them. This is what you see in these videos is what my thought process looks like. I might remove some stuff that I end up not wanting to share, but what you hear is pretty much what you get in real life as well. With that in mind, I'll see you next week. Welcome to another Saturday. My main thoughts for today relate to reflecting on client statuses. I think being a coach is such a wonderful experience. And I was talking to someone earlier today, and I kind of have a feeling that both being a teacher, being a coach, you kind of step into a little bit of a parenting role. Obviously without all the responsibility stuff, but the way that you get to teach someone and be there for someone is very interesting. And of course, depending on how involved you are as a coach, it might feel very different. I think for me, the way that I involve myself with my clients and get to see them deal with their battles and hopefully help them overcome those battles, you really get to experience a lot of different things, both ups and downs. And I think over the last week, the running theme has been uncertainty. Not as much an uncertainty for me, but uncertainty for the clients I work with. How do you deal with those knocks that you get along the road? When you think that you have the answer and you get told, oh no, you can't do that. How do you react in that circumstance? Those situations are where you really get tested. Do you just suck it up, pivot and continue, or do you let it knock you down? And fortunately, I should say, none of the people that I work with have just been knocked down by it. I don't think they would probably not be the types of people who would be doing something like this if it was that easy to kind of get knocked back. Of course, it's still natural for everyone to react differently. And even if you are stoic in some way, you still have your way of processing what happens. And yet, despite battling all of this uncertainty, looking at the details, we still find ways to make progress. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of myself for helping them do that, but I'm also proud of them for the effort that they put in. And I realized something as well this week, that a couple of my clients apparently had assumptions for what I thought they should do with their business. Not as much how to make the business profitable, but what kind of business to make it. And while I do obviously have my own opinions and knowledge of maybe what makes sense and what doesn't make sense comparatively to them, they were afraid to tell me. And this shows me something about the way that I've set and managed expectations and have not been clear enough in my own language and aligning my own expectations with them, that I am here to help facilitate their success and not for them to make the business that I think they need to make. So that was a really valuable lesson. I think something else that's worth bringing up is I've caught myself, let me put it this way, I like to think ahead. I like to plan, I like to prepare. I have a very, very long-term vision, but I also like the short, near future. I like to think ahead. But I think it's robbing me of both being present in the moment, but also continuing to what is the bottleneck and the most important thing right now. Like, it's all well and good that I start considering business structure and do I want to move somewhere in the future, and you know, what's the way gonna be for me to train people and other coaches, and is it even gonna make sense that way? How do I start using AI? Like, how do I really future-proof the business? Is there bigger leverage to be found somewhere? And thinking about all these future optimals and completely neglecting just today's excellence. And I mean, I'm just happy that I've realized that, because it helps me remind myself that what I'm doing right now matters for the next step. And if not being perfect and just getting started was what it took to get me started and to get me to this point where I'm at right now, after 2 years of doing this for free, then not being perfect is probably also going to let me carry forward. And so it really helps me moderate and deal with my, I think pressure is one word, and anxiety. Anxiety might be another word. I don't really know what to call it. I think it's just a fear of not doing well enough in the future. And I mean, as it's in the future, I'll never know. So there's no way to answer any of that. It does make sense to make considerations for, is my strategy, you know, the best use of my resources in a leverage perspective. But, you know, as is with all of these decisions, I'm never gonna have perfect amounts of information. So don't try to get that, is my response to myself. Continue without it, see what happens. As I also tweeted or posted the other day, like, I know that this is the business for my future. I don't necessarily know what it's gonna turn into. That part is up for change. I was gonna say up for debate, but it's open to change. But I know that I'm not gonna stop pursuing this mission that I have. So the vehicle for me getting there can change, it probably will change, but I want to make entrepreneurship education practical, tangible, accessible to as many people as possible. Yeah. Why? Because it was so frustrating for me that I knew I wanted to start a business, but I just did not know how. It was never gonna work out back then, and obviously I can't go back and change anything, and I don't think I would, even with the option, because I would not be the person I am today if I changed anything. And you know, I've come to like me. I think I'm a nice, kind human and friend, and I'm curious to learn and support other people, and I do my best to take care of the people I have around me. So I would not, like, going back, I would not change any of that. You have no idea how many moments of these videos I just spent reflecting, appreciating, wondering if you've ever thought about starting a business. I have no idea when this is going to be released. I mean, it's the 9th of August, which means earliest will be start of next year. And I imagine that my business will look completely different at that point. I know it's going to change a lot over the next half year. But I want to mention that if you've thought about starting a business, even though my service is entrepreneurship education, think twice. And I say that because do not take lightly the burden that you place on yourself with entrepreneurship. And I don't mean that in any dramatic way. I just mean it in the sense that on the other side of all the fulfilling work, or obviously at some point financial rewards if you get to that point. Status, for some people, you are going to have daily doubts, daily. You just wonder if shit will ever work out. And it might not, especially not in the way that you think it will. And that's, almost close to guaranteed. What I'm realizing on my journey is how much of it is so many things going wrong that what I'm guessing will be short moments of celebration, just followed by, I expect this to work because of how long I've been trying to get it to work. So there is no real surprise in it anymore. And all of those private victories, result or monetary stuff. I know I'll be happy when I get my first high ticket client. I know I'll be happy when I make 10 grand and 100 grand and 1 million and 10 million. But I'll be happy because of what I can do with it and the people I can help with it and what I've shown myself I can do. Yeah. You might see this and wonder, what you're seeing now is not me in a moment feeling down. Like, this is honestly what most of my days look like. There are not really any ups or low downs, I would say. There are ups and there are downs, but I would say it's just a lot of neutral. And maybe I do that to myself, but I think it's a mechanism that I've developed to kind of cope with the fact that it is so hard all the time. But this mission is worth fighting for the rest of my life for. Why? Because I don't know what else I would be doing. Like, I've had so much fulfillment from so little work at this point that I can't go back. I can't. And I've not even been paid for this yet. So yeah, that ship has sailed, but I think it's only in a good way. Now there's not much else to say than let's continue and go make some money from it and change the world, right? And I hope you want to be here for the ride. If you're new here, go back and watch my first video. That's some real shit, literally, but also figuratively. But I would not be here if it weren't for that first ever video that I did. So thank you, past me, and cheers to future me. See you next week. It is not Saturday, but it is Friday, and today I'm going to the US to visit a family member, hence why I'm recording this on a Friday and not a Saturday. So for what has changed, I think compared to last week, one of the biggest changes is having gotten back to working with one of my clients again, who was kind of taking a break. Then one of the other guys has not found a new opportunity, but has realized that one of the opportunities that he went into this program with might be a better fit. And he has quite a lot of data supporting this. So right now he's considering switching. And honestly, in my eyes, I do think it's the better choice. So we'll see. But of course, it's always, as a coach, and especially now where I'm doing free work and there aren't really that big consequences for some of these guys in changing what they're doing or not showing up to calls or to meetings. It's really difficult, but it's a great challenge because it forces me to be clear, communicate why I asked them to do the things that I asked them to do. What's the purpose of it? What happens for the group dynamic if they choose not to do it? How might they lose out themselves? Yeah, committing and just being all in for the time that they've agreed to be part of it. But on top of that lesson then comes that it's going to be much easier in a conversation with future leads to say, hey, I know what it looks like if you don't pay for this, and you're not going to get the same results because you're not going to be as committed. So I think that's a really, really nice lesson to have gotten firsthand, just on top of all the experience I actually get. And yeah, we're creating some great results. Some of the guys are just now picking up a few testimonials. Then hopefully we'll be moving into making some money in not too long. So it's very varied, but making mistakes and failing and learning is always making progress, but some are definitely making more visible progress than others, but all are making progress. But I'm also really happy that I can now tell that this is the last free class that I need to do. And so being able to start a wait list to take on the best ones, but also have some scarcity is gonna be a good thing lead gen wise. I'm hoping it's not gonna be as easy as I think, probably. But yeah, My plan is to get the next round of clients doing one-on-one reach outs or referrals, and then after that to set up a funnel, probably something like a video sales letter, and run some paid ads so that I actually get higher yield and less effort and time involved. Right now is a little bit of a waiting stage. I've become much better at pushing forwards with the actual action points every day, instead of just saying, hey, let me know what you worked on, or hey, how's it going? So actually saying, did you do that? Or did you follow up on that? How is that gone? Being very specific, I can tell immediately, helps them push forward, helps them say, oh, actually I didn't do that, or oh, I forgot, or oh yeah, I did do that and that resulted in. So following up on that, following up on conversations, on emails, on calls, all of that stuff is yielding some great lessons. And most of the guys are already doing really, really well. So that's awesome to see. I'll be leaving in a little under an hour. I have a few things to get done, so stay tuned for next week. We'll probably be from the US. Welcome to the US. I'm in the US, and I think I even forgot to record a status update last weekend. So here's the full catch up. Over the last couple of weeks, I've continued to do the work that I do on a daily basis. And being here in the US, one, I've enjoyed spending whatever leisure time I spend with my family, you know, the reason I traveled here. But also, I'm thoroughly enjoying making sure I intentionally and deliberately spend time working. Like, I can tell immediately when I'm not doing the things I should be doing. And I'm happy that my priorities are as clear as that, because it makes it really easy to make decisions most of the time. Progress-wise, the clients who decided to go in another direction have made steady progress in terms of building a foundation. And from September off, we'll probably be taking on the first clients. That's super exciting. And they have really great conditions for making that profitable. So high hopes. For a couple of the other clients, great progress as well. Some delivering free work, some earning more money, some being more patient than others, but because of visible reasons, I would say. And attached to that is a realization again of where do I need to push as a coach, and where do I let them go with what they know and how they feel and how much they feel like they can do. I'm just learning more and more what that means as a coach and what's gonna get the best out of my clients. And you know, that's gonna be different for each client probably, or definitely. But being able to assert what is the fine line between the starting point, the current point where they need to go, how much of a push and direction do they need, and how much can they go about on their own. So that's really interesting. I'm just fascinated by working with people and people's motivations, people's disciplines, people's incentives, and understanding the human brain of self-conditioning, having a reason for wanting to do something, just determination and just like executing. I think that's incredibly fascinating. Why do we do the things we do? When is enough enough? And I do agree with, you know, Dr. Mike Israetel said, when you look in the mirror and you hate what you see, then you'll start going to the gym. Like, I do believe that's kind of the situation, right? Whenever the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, then you'll change, simple as that. And I'm, one, really fascinated by Hormosis book launch, because it was a great reframing for me about future potentials for excellence. I thought the execution of the book launch was absolutely incredible. They did an amazing job, and getting some kind of insight into the 2 years of effort that took to put this book launch together from Alex's side is, for where I'm at, mind-blowing. But I'm really happy that I got to hear and witness that, and to see the impact it had, how it was put together to now have the book, which I'm looking forward to read. It was just a great reframing of what is possible and how great your potential is when you go all in. Not all in just right now, all in every day, over years. The intentionality, the level of details, the no assumptions, the follow-ups, the caring about the outcome, caring about the impact, the competitiveness of it. That was super inspiring. And so that reframing helped me deliberately reevaluate being able to do more, stay focused for longer, and continuously just make sure that I spend my time on the things that I want to be spending my time on, so that I get the most bang out of my life bucks, my time here. I think progress-wise, I need to do more follow-ups. I need to ask about specific action points, and I don't need an excuse of saying I'm busy doing other things or too busy to remember doing it. When that's the work that matters, that would be crazy, right? I'm not aiming for any kind of work-life balance in whatever traditional sense you might find that word. I'm at least not looking for any kind of equal distribution. I'm looking to do the most of what I want to do at the times I want to do them. And for the most part, that goes well. But I do worry about the prioritizations and the decision making I'll be making in the future. Yeah, I worry that I will spend too much time pursuing my ambition. But I'm guessing that just comes down to reevaluating continuously. What are my priorities this month, this year, this quarter, this half year, and then sticking to those priorities, because then you can't go wrong. And then I learn and I make adjustments. I think that's, thinking this way is just the nature of planning ahead, seeing into the future. And yeah, I don't know if worrying is the right word. Like, I don't intentionally worry. It's just a byproduct of trying to plan ahead when, life is gonna play out the way it plays out, and I will just be here to live it the way it ends up, right? What do I want to say with this? I want to say with this, if you're not living the life you want to live, change it. You're the only one who can do that, which makes you judge, jury, and executioner. So don't wait for anyone to come and help you or expect someone to help you, because they won't, most likely. The good thing is that you can change your life if you don't like it. Now, you might not be able to get where you want to go immediately, but if you're willing to wait 5 or 10 years, and if you have that time and the energy required to make whatever sacrifices needed to get you out of that place, then you can make the change needed. Question is just, do you want to? Again, going back to how painful is it to stay the same? Is it enough? And I'm here for something big. And so we'll see just how big and how many and great sacrifices I'm willing to make when I really have something to lose in trading my time for time with my kids in the future. What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another status video. Today is not Saturday, unfortunately, but it is Sunday, and I'm going back to Denmark, Copenhagen today. But of course, I couldn't leave without recording a short behind the scenes, right? So what do I have to share? Well, one, clients have been making more money, which is just awesome in and of itself. I think second lesson, again, being reminded that even though you have positive signs of demand, you still can't neglect the amount of volume that it takes for someone to get to know what you do. So even if you have positive signs, freaking hammer on, because people don't know you. Bulldoze your way through them not knowing. Just do so much more volume than what you expect, because why not? So yeah, reminded of that, and it's something that I'm using with the people I work with to the extent that they are willing to do it on their own behalf. Of course, I'm not able to or want to do something for them, but I can only help them understand the benefit of doing so. Another important point is one of the other guys hopefully doing his last bit of free work now, getting final testimonials, and afterwards being able to get paid for what he does. And that was also a case of him feeling like a lot of things were working against him, and he kind of wanted to switch, which I totally understand. But I'm happy that we reached a point where he wanted to commit to seeing what we could get out of the last month of our work together. And then if he still wanted to switch, I told him I'm more than happy to switch and help you with the rest as well. But it can work out, and it will work out if you continue. So, and then continuing in that direction has been super positive so far. Then there are just one or two people who are definitely a little more behind, and it's funny because it shows in their level of engagement with me, how much they reach back out to me, how much they ask for feedback, all of this stuff. It 100% directly translates into the results they're getting. And so that's a very valuable lesson, I guess, as a coach, right? Because, I'm always trying to assert what are the things that are the most important for the clients having their success. And it just so clearly shows that the one-on-one exchanges, the following up on action points, them reporting on their progress, what they've been stuck on, how the conversations go. These are the things that matter. Because even with a bad offer, we can fix that. Even with a bad script, we can fix that. Even with bad calls, we can fix that. But we can't fix anything if they don't reach out to me or their respective coach in the future. Otherwise, more people are moving forward. I just started the waitlist, or published the waitlist on the free school group, and I guess I'll have to see if anybody joins on their own. It's there now, and I will of course let them know in the group. But what I'm really excited to see is, or wondering is, whether having the waitlist as a benefit or something you get from being part of the free group is gonna enable more people to join the group or incentivize it, or if it's gonna deter more people because they think it's just a waitlist. I'm kind of excited to see what that's gonna look like in terms of signups, and yeah, it's gonna be really exciting for me to later this year get my first paying clients, and it's only a matter of time. When you grind how I grind, it's a matter of time, it's not by chance. And I think it just fits so perfectly. Like when you know you're putting in the work and you know you're working on the right things, testing the right things, it is only a matter of time. As long as you don't take bets where you can risk everything at once with low chances. So yeah, my time will come, and it's not even like with just the first paying clients that my time has come. At that point, the mission is so much greater, and also financially what I want to make is so much greater. But that's just the first confirmatory signs that what I'm doing is working, and that's exciting. After that, it's just getting more people in and scaling. So yeah, and I'm not sure if because of the restrictions I have on social media accounts, if I'll just go directly for ads. I am considering that. We'll see. It might be worth it. Yeah, because I'm just sitting here thinking about what Hormozy said about cost of acquisition and delivery ×2, and how that can turn into printing money. It should be possible, I would say. Hopefully, we'll see. Yeah, just reading $100 million money models. Great book, as I expected. But yeah, if you're considering, get it. There's no reason not to have it. If you're an aspiring or a current entrepreneur, like, it's gonna help you make more money. So order it now. And this is not sponsored in any way. It's just great value. I think those were the most pressing matters, and I've enjoyed seeing my family, but I'm also really looking forward to going back and just diving into work again. Everyone who says entrepreneurship is lonely is 100% correct. It is really lonely. And I think one of the hard things about that is knowing that you're the one who chose this. Like, you're the one who chose to be lonely. And you can still, like, I have great friends that I talk to and see every now and then. But most of the time, it's just me. Right now, at least. And I know why, and I wouldn't change it for anything. It's just rough. So I'm looking forward to at least getting some more people in the business and having more peers to spar with. I think that'll be great. So yeah, this has been August. I feel like so many things have happened. There's been so many small developments that have created like bigger results, and it might not have seemed like a lot on camera, but definitely big developments for the clients that I've worked with. It's kind of funny how I guess they're just going to be these waves of the same kind of learning over and over because of the nature of what I do and the nature of the repetitions. So yeah, I'm looking forward to being so good at it that it just gets boring. Then I think I've reached the expertise state. If you like these videos, if you like this behind the scenes of building the business, and if you have any specific kind of insights you would like to see, let me know in the comments. I make these videos, one, for my own sake, so when I look back, I'll have footage of the whole journey. If you aren't doing it, start doing it yourself. Why not? You don't even have to release it. Second reason, to show you, either for educational purposes or for inspirational purposes, of what it looks like, actual reality might be like, the ups and downs, and just how I try and process everything. I hope you at least didn't waste your time. As always, thank you for watching, and stay disciplined.